What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today in this video, guys, we're going to talk about governance tokens. And are they worth keeping? Are they useful? Are they useless? Let's go and explain all that and more. And guys, I got my handy dandy notes. I got Puffy the mic. We organized. We're going to stay straight. And we're going to go ahead and break this down today. Yeah, I know it's kind of like cheat codes. You guys already know what I'm talking about. But they're my self notes. I mean, dude, use for bribes. What's use for bribes? Okay, let's go and get into governance tokens. I want to talk about three different things. First, I'm going to talk about what they can be used for. Second, I'm going to give examples of some. Third, I'm going to explain the risks involved in if all governance tokens are the same. Now, what is a governance token used for? Well, first off, it's used for bribes. Bribes are very, very important. If you guys don't believe me, take a look at Curve. So, do you guys remember those bribe wars? If you didn't remember it, basically TLDR on what happened was people who owned the Curve token, the Curve DAO token, they could vote where they gave the incentives. And why are incentives important? Well, I don't LP or provide liquidity in a pool to earn no rewards and take on all that risk. However, if I'm getting rewards, I may take on that risk. It's called yield farming. So with the votes, or the strategy was to obtain all these Curve DAO tokens and direct liquidity, or say, hey, look, we want to incentivize this pool and send it to that pool to pay the incentives. So like, say for example, I have, my protocol is Frax, and I want my Frax token to have more liquidity. Well, how do you get more liquidity? So what I could do is I could purchase the Curve token, and I can say, all right, I want to vote and say, hey, we should use 33% or 30% of the liquidity incentives that we have, and we should send them to this pool. And then it's like, okay, yeah, let's do it. So then it gives the tokens there. So in order for me to actually vote, I need to have the Curve DAO token. Another option I could use is I could give out my governance token. But the problem with giving out your own governance token is the APRs are dependent on your token value. So if your token value is consistently going down, the APRs are going to go down, and I wouldn't be incentivized to provide liquidity. So it would be my best incentive to use someone else's token first, because it's not going to dilute the value of my coin. Second is because, well, if they have a good, strong history of keeping at somewhat of a price and more people are competing with the governance token of that and trying to have Curve bribe wars, people are going to buy the token. So that's going to keep the APRs high, which incentivizes more people to provide liquidity to get those lucrative APRs. And as always, green button means up, red button means down. I know this is a lot of junk and it may go over your head, but look at it like this. In order to vote, you have to have the quote-unquote Curve token. So with the bribe strategy, they're actually able to use a quarter, or maybe a little more, maybe a little less, of the actual assets they were going to give out as rewards by just giving out as bribes. And they will create more liquidity over there because Curve is a massive protocol. That's just one of the things. Second, you can make decisions that matter. Now, there are certain governance tokens that are straight doo-doo. Actually, a lot of them are. But there are some that are very important, aka Curve bribes. You basically get paid to vote. You get paid by other protocols. So it's almost like free airdrops. It's a great source of passive income, and people use that for that. That is the second. You can make decisions that matter, and you can even say, hey, I really think we should do this for this protocol. I really think it'll expand. Or, hey, we should add this liquidity pool because it could really expand. And hang on, listen to what I just said. Hey, I think we should add this liquidity pool because it would really help our protocol. Now, let that sink in. I'm a new project, and I want to get liquidity. What do? Well, I go vote and I get Curve tokens, or I bribe people to vote to put my liquidity pool there so people can provide liquidity, and I direct rewards there. I automatically solve the problem I have. I have a liquidity pool on one of the largest DeFi platforms, and I have rewards going there. People are interested. People are farming. It's creating liquidity for my token. Everyone's happy. Okay? Get the point. Third, basically a ticket in the community. So a good example of this is a CryptoPunk. Now, if you're in the CryptoPunk community and you don't have a CryptoPunk, it's literally like going into a store naked. People just are like, bro, you can't be a part of this community without that CryptoPunk. It's the same thing as being a OMI. So like an Olympus DAO, if you want to be an OMI, you have to hold OM. It's period. That's how you got to be an OMI. So if you aren't an OMI or holding OM, you're basically just like, whatever. Yeah, you're not a part of our community. So these are used as like tickets to be a part of the community. So something to keep in mind as well. I know it doesn't seem like a lot to most, but take a look at this. How many people spend so much money on like their avatars in video games? They spend a lot because they feel it's a part of the community. Another example. Why do people spend so much money with the CryptoPunk? Because they want to feel they are not being left behind and they want to feel involved. Another example. Why do people buy like Rolex, Louis Vuitton, or a Rolls Royce? Just buy a regular car. It's the same junk, different day. It does the same thing. Well, because they want to be a part of that quote unquote elite status. They want to feel involved. They want to feel a part of the community. They want to feel like, bro, you got Rolex, I got Rolex, we Rolex. No. So just so you guys get the point. 4, sometimes you can get a share of the protocol fees. Not all the governance tokens do this, but most of them do this. Actually, a lot of them do this. Examples are FXS. Another example is Tokamak. Another example is Curve, Olympus DAO. You guys get the point. Now let's go and give a couple of protocol examples that are kind of, you can consider them the DeFi OGs. Curve, I already gave the example of that. But basically, Curve is just like a backbone in DeFi for being able to swap stablecoin between stablecoins. Olympus DAO, you guys know about OM. Just imagine this. If you're wanting OM or Olympus to purchase your tokens and store them in the treasury, what do? Well, you got to get OM and vote on it. Or if you want to release your token and have the Olympus DAO blessing, what do? You airdrop the token holders, you bribe the OM holders, the OMIs, and have them vote your protocol in to give a share of the treasury. You guys can look at OM like basically a decentralized venture capital or VC that actually gives investing fund or investing capital, or you can consider it like an angel investor for protocols that need funds and money. And of course, they would get the blessing and so on. You guys get the point. But that is the use case for the Olympus token. And yes, there are other use cases as well, like a reserve asset. But still, you guys get the point. It's still a governance token. Now, Tokamak. Tokamak is basically a governance vote that allows you to direct liquidity. So say Tokamak has, let's say $500 million in assets inside their treasury. Well, the holders of the toke token can say, hey, look, we got a lot of ETH in here. I really like this protocol. It's a really cool protocol. I think we should send like $1 million in ETH to them just to help them out. And you can vote and do that by holding the token. So just another thing you guys can understand. It directs liquidity. The next one is yearn finance. So people look at yearn finance and are like, it's just a useless governance token. Or others are like, oh, I want to get involved with Andre Cronje, so I better get one of his tokens. Some people are thinking about it wrong. What is yearn finance known for? It's known for farming and dumping. Like literally just farm, dump, farm, dump, farm, dump. So if I have a project or a protocol and I'm like, bro, my token is literally just going down, what am I going to do? Well, I would vote and say, hey, we should get rid of this protocol or this token pair because it's just literally just useless. Like no one wants to use this. Or I can vote in the protocol pair and say, ooh, these APRs are way too high. Everyone loves this pair. Let's just go ahead and lower the rewards. I mean, they don't need that many rewards. It's already got sufficient liquidity. So it will basically allow people to be like, well, bro, I'm not getting the same APR I used to be getting. I'm pulling out. So then there goes the farm dump machine. It's pulled out. You guys get the point. Bitcoin. This is another one. Now people look at it like an asset and they're like, how is this governance? This is how Bitcoin could possibly be governance. So this is more so towards the miners. Say you hold a very large portion of the mining network, you can actually vote to where the protocol goes. Now, this isn't just saying like the Bitcoin holders in general, but this is just saying like in general with the miners. Miners decide to fork the chain. the chain that has the most blocks, or the blocks that keep producing, people are going to go with that chain. So they can use that to vote with where they put their blocks. So say you make the fork and you hold a large amount of the network, or let's just say a small amount of the network, and you decide to fork. I'm just going to fork this, see what happens. Look at Bitcoin Cash. It did the same exact thing. Most people still stayed on Bitcoin. However, with Bitcoin Cash, there were a set of miners that still went with that. There were people with those tokens. They held those tokens and said, no, this is the chain. Bitcoin said, no, this is the chain. And you guys see how that rolled out. But that's the point. It's also, you can kind of consider a governance token. Not more so like Curve, Ohm, Toke, and Yearn, but it's just an example, just so you guys can understand. Now, lastly, I want to cover this topic. Okay, if it's a governance token, then I guess it has value now, right? No, that is not the case. First, Ponzi farms or different protocols that launch up just so you can farm and get the governance token. Now, those 99.9999999% of those are basically going to be worth a big fat zero because, well, they aren't, like, why would I want to govern over something like that? Like, dude, I mean, I could be a governance over an earbud. I don't want to govern over that. How about governance over like your community or like where you live? Having governance over your HOA. Now, that's a little bit bigger. I can be like, bro, everyone's got to cut their grass or I'm going to fine them $100 a month or $100 a day. Now, dude, that's huge because I can just say this, this, and this, and then I can basically get random income because not everyone wants to cooperate with that. But that's just different things you can do. It's basically just like flex power being able to do something. But who wants flex power over a Ponzi farm that no one wants to use? No one. I mean, no, it's junk. So that is one of the risks. Second is a protocol with no vision. Don't just go into a protocol, farm, and get the token, and you're like, dude, this cracker token, it's going to the moon. I know it is. They're paying out 1,000,000% APR. I know it's going to the moon. They're giving such great rewards. I'm holding them to the moon. And then like 3 days later, the moon, you end up finding that it's in the center of the earth, and you're like, man, I lost all my money. This is horrible. So the point is like, if there is no vision, just, no thanks. Look for communities. Invest in people, not Ponzi's. There's lots of Ponzi's out there. There's not a lot of strong and good people out there. Trust me. I've tried to look, and I haven't found many. Third, whales. Whales owning all or have a lot of the governance token, they could have some greed. Take the uni governance token, for example. Do you guys remember, I think it was like 3 or 4 months ago, there was some random vote that some whales voted and basically said, yeah, let's give like, it was like $100 million, like $50 million, just some like random protocol, just for just talking about DeFi. Like, I mean, this was just like across a whim and no one really even knew about the project itself or the team itself, and they basically just sent money to them. I mean, was this an inside job? Like, did they just send that to themselves? Like, were these owners of a bunch of uni governance tokens, and they were actually the owner of the quote unquote, let's spread the word about DeFi? Possibly. I don't know. Time will tell. But I mean, those are just some things you got to think about. So again, the risks. First, you don't want to be a governance holder of a piece of trash Ponzi farm. Second, you don't want to be a governance holder of a protocol with no vision. Third, whales owning all of the tokens is a major risk because they're going to hold a major vote of it. I mean, that's why a lot of people in the United States don't vote, because they feel it's one vote and it doesn't matter. That's the point. If you feel you don't matter in the protocol, then that's an issue and you won't vote. So just some things to think about, the value of governance tokens. I mainly want you guys to focus on this, on the use cases for the governance tokens, as long as you found a good one. Now, strong ones are ones that you can see people using them. Like Curve, everyone uses Curve. I'm not saying to go buy the Curve governance token. You're going to be dealing with the bribe boards bidding it up. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But I just want to keep some things on your guys' radar so you guys can understand and look at the governance token in a different way, because we found more use cases for the governance token. One of the major use cases is bribes. So we were kind of looking at it at the wrong way. Let's go ahead and leave you guys with a wisdom one-liner. By the way, guys, if you guys want to join in Discord, there's a Patreon link in the description below. There's some exclusive content I don't talk about on YouTube. And we have some AMAs from time to time so we can chat back and forth as a community. Some of the topics in there are a little more advanced DeFi topics, some farms that are printing, and different protocols that I'm looking at and strategies I'm implementing, as well as strategies other people are implementing. Proverbs chapter 14, verses 35. A king delights in a wise servant, but a shameful servant arouses his fury. That's so true, man. Be wise, be truthful, and be good. You guys can also catch me on tweeters. It's at rent a home fast, like literally at rent a home fast.